Hello and welcome to Visual Conversations. I am Doug Neill, host of this project here at Verbal to Visual, which is all about helping you develop your sketchnoting skills.
And I'm Austin Goldberg, and I'm a student who is joining Doug on this journey of collaborative conversations, just trying to learn and build up my sketchnoting skills.
And he's getting pretty darn good too. You guys have probably seen his progression in the first 5 episodes. We are back to our normal setup here in front of a desk rather than awkwardly standing in front of that wall. It feels safer here behind a desk. I don't know if you feel that way, Austin.
Yeah, there's like less things to trip on, less light bulbs to maybe smash.
Yeah. Thankfully, we did not break anything last episode, and this episode here, number 6, marks kind of round 2 of this series. It's kind of nice to be able to do a set of episodes, then some sort of kind of a reflection and application, and then jump back into another series. And one thing that we're trying this round that's a little bit different is instead of each of us bringing in an idea every single episode, we're just going to bring in one idea and get each of our takes on that idea. So we'll see if we like that shorter, quicker, snappier episodes. In today's episode, I'm going to bring the idea. If you're still okay with that, Austin.
I am fine with that.
All right. So the idea that I am bringing in today is from a new video from Chase Jarvis, who came up in the last episode as well. But the video that I am referencing actually just came out this morning, I think. And it's from his video series, Chase Jarvis Raw. So Chase Jarvis is the founder of Creative Live. So there's a lot of cool courses available on Creative Live, but I like that Chase puts out a lot of his own videos and tips about creativity and photography and entrepreneurship and all sorts of interesting things. And the video that I watched this morning that I found to be interesting and inspiring was all about how to develop your own personal style. So the reason that I find this exploration of the idea of your personal style so interesting and relevant is because it can apply to all sorts of different professions and projects depending on what you're working on, from things like sketchnoting style, which is most relevant to this series here, but even writing style or illustration style, and even just getting comfortable with using your voice, developing your speaking voice, your singing voice. Or if you're someone who likes to carry a camera around, your photography style, your videography style, if you're into music and maybe building a music studio within your college, your music style, and for those that consider themselves educators, your teaching style. So no matter what work you do, you develop a style around your work. And what Chase shared, the most important piece of that video, which I'll be sure to link to, is answering that question of how. How do you develop your personal style? And the way you do that, the way you develop your personal style, is by making lots and lots of things. Not just 5 or 10, but 100 or 1,000. And that it's through the making of whatever your thing is that you uncover your style over time. And I think part of why I like that idea is just how simple it is, one, but just because it's simple, that doesn't make it easy to do. Chase points this out as well, that even if you know this idea makes sense to you, very few people actually put in the work to make enough things to develop their own personal style. So Austin, I'd be curious to hear how these ideas hit you. There's a lot that you can go into from here, but turn it over to you first.
Yeah, so when I heard you first talking about this personal style, that is kind of a concept that's new to me at Wayfinding, because I'm going through the process of trying all these new things and seeing which ones resonate with me and which ones don't.
Right.
So I'm more so in the process of trying to find these things, trying to find, if I figure out, okay, I really like to illustrate, or I'm starting to pick up an interest in music, or videography might be really interesting to me, then comes this next stage, which I feel like I'm about to dive into with a lot of my projects that I've got going on, is this maker stage and this iteration, and really trying to get at, like, what do I like about this? What is my why? Why am I doing this in the first place? And then kind of building into that personal style as well. And that sounds really cool to me because it's just kind of like, it makes me think of like personal ownership. Like, this is the thing that I'm doing and this is the way that I do it and I'm getting good at it.
Yeah. No, I think you bring up a good point too, that especially considering the amount of work that it will take to develop your personal style, you've got to go through this kind of exploration and alignment process first to even discover the craft that you'll be willing to put in all this work toward to develop your style around. So I think that's what wayfinding is good at too, and that they help you to kind of uncover what thing you'd like to pursue so that the effort that you put into developing your personal style is well spent.
And this makes me think of a conversation that we had, I think it might have been in week 3, about compassionate anger. You probably look over
it's up there.
Week 2.
I think it was week 2. Yeah.
About compassionate anger. And that is actually at the core of like what I'm trying to figure out here at wayfinding currently.
Yeah.
I've been having really good conversations with people in and around wayfinding in the community of talking about what makes me angry and what do I care about and what am I really, really passionate about underneath it all. And more importantly, why? Why are those my values and why do I care about that kind of stuff? I think the next step is how am I going to do something about it, and how am I going to do something about it? What's my personal style? How am I going to go about doing that? How am I going to be most effective using my talents to share my values with the world and make change?
Yeah, I like it. One thing that'd be cool maybe for you to add here, Austin, was something related to how like the step that comes before all of this work, whether it be I don't know what words you would want to use to recall back kind of the exploration that you're doing at wayfinding or the, that stage that you mentioned is going on for you right now.
It just kind of seems like a lot of self-exploration and more so just exploration of values.
Yeah.
I'm thinking of like a compass or something.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Austin. Great minds think alike.
All right.
And one of the things that I like about specifically showing this stage in the process is that I think when it comes to doing this work, and particularly like after you've made a thing, and especially if you then share whatever that thing is, which I am a supporter of, sharing your works in progress, putting that work out there. But that can be a scary step as you make more things and share more things over time, because if you don't have kind of a solid core set of values, and this is for me is bringing back the iceberg there. If you don't have a solid foundation under the work that you're doing, I think it can be too easy for the reactions of others to kind of dictate where your style goes as you're doing the making. But I think what's important, as long as you are staying true to kind of the core behind the thing that you're making, that's what makes sure that the style that develops over time is an authentic one, I guess. I think that's a good word to bring in.
Yeah, totally.
So I think one piece kind of along those same lines that I want to build in, maybe down here, maybe up here, is kind of the act of sharing. Like how does the share come into this picture of you developing your style? I'm kind of reminded right away too of I think a short little Instagram video from our friend Todd Henry, who has come up on this show before, talking about how you kind of need to guard your heart from trolls who will forever be scouring the internet trying to take you down and discouraging you from making whatever it is that you're making. So that's, I think, a challenge and a balance that you have to strike when it comes to deciding when and where to share the things that you're making, and then after you've shared it, deciding what to actually pay attention to once you've shared a thing. So I think it's worthwhile then to share as much and as early as you can, but know that you'll have to guard your heart from trolls. And this is something that I've been thinking about specifically related to the music studio project that's going on, because that has already got me excited about using that studio as well, and starting to play around with music, which I've alluded to in the past, but I've never spent any serious amount of time dedicating to that. But for me, I know even the thought of making and sharing a piece of music, that is so much like scarier to me than sharing my sketch notes with the world were. And I don't know I think there's just something more personal, and music is kind of more of an art form than sketchnoting is. but I'm curious about your thoughts on maybe that
Yeah.
music specifically or something else related
No,
to
I think that what you just said is also something that I've felt as well. It's just like, why are some things very easy to share and others extremely scary?
Right.
For me, I don't know. This is just kind of a theory that I have. I'm wondering if the more vulnerable you are in doing it, the harder it is to share.
Yeah.
And I think the more of yourself that you're putting into it, the harder it is to share.
Yeah.
But I think it's also ironic because it's
Whatever
like,
that piece is.
yeah, it's like how much heart you're putting into it, how much of yourself you're putting into it. It's ironic because I feel like that is where you're going to really get at this personal style, because it's really like you're putting a lot of yourself into the work, but it's also, in my opinion, the most difficult to share.
Yeah. That's a good point. That adds another layer to the difficulty in doing all of this making, that the challenge isn't just like putting in the hours of doing the making, but it's like each thing you make has a piece of your heart in it. That's what's going to make it good and interesting and lead you toward your style.
And I think
The piece on that's going to be a weird cut. And that piece on vulnerability too, that makes me want to buy like all of Brene Brown's books, because that's what she talks about a lot too. And I feel like I need a better, I don't know, kind of like with the iceberg model, a better underlying structure, just to be able to deal with the, challenging things that come up when you are vulnerable in your work and in the work that you share. So.
to me,
Brene Brown's books, ideas are probably going to be making their way into these episodes pretty soon.
I really don't know much about Brene Brown, but it is a name that keeps coming up over and over and over. So I think that this is an opportunity to check it out. For me, it's like two V words are coming up. It's just values and vulnerability, and I think that those are connected for me. I think it's kind of scary to like really own my values and share those for the first time. So I think that's kind of like the work that I want to be doing in the world comes from my values, but it's also the most vulnerable and it's the scariest to share.
Yeah, what I like about expressing it this way too is that I think it does. Well, actually, elaborate when you mean what you mean by values.
I just mean work that is in line with my values, work that I'm really feeling at my core. Like, this is what I potentially want to do with my life, and this is the work that matters to me. This is where that compassionate anger comes in.
Yeah.
The more connected I am to my values and the work that I do, the more vulnerable it is and the scarier it is to me to share.
Absolutely. I think there's a piece too here, like this increases in scariness, but part of the reason I asked for you to elaborate on values is that I think this kind of like how valuable the thing you make also kind of follows along this graph. Like the more vulnerable you're willing to be and the more in line your work is with your values, the more valuable the thing that you make will be. So it's kind of a cool tie in there.
It's like work that matters.
Yeah. Doing what that needs to be like a bumper sticker.
Is that true though? I mean, that's just a theory I have. I'm trying to figure that out. Does work that matter most to you, is that the scariest to share?
I think so, because that's the most that you're kind of like emotionally invested in. I think that's what makes it scary, because the more emotionally invested you are in the thing, the more you will care about how others react to it and whether or not they find it interesting, valuable, cool.
Should we do a line from this to this?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool.
And I'm curious to hear from you, Austin. You kind of mentioned how particularly the stage within wayfinding, first year in particular, is a lot of this self-exploration.
Yeah.
Do you think you have identified, and would you be willing to share, like what might be the thing that you would like to make and develop a personal style around?
Yeah. So I'm still trying to figure out what it means and what it looks like to me and what it's going to look like. It's a little bit difficult for me to kind of let that be uncertain. And just deal with the things that are right in front of me and try to build those skills. It's weird because it's like I'm trying to build skills to do work that I don't even know what that work is going to be yet. Right. It's just like I think it's in that general direction, so I'm going to head there, and I'm not sure where it's going to take me. So the things that I'm kind of realizing about myself for now, recently, are just that, like, first I really do well. Like, I thrive when I'm excited, energized, and I'm kind of natural. Like, I feel like I have a natural ability to like get other people energized and excited about the things that I care about as well. And
I have not seen any of that energy or excitement come through on any of these videos, so
I'm a fraud.
Work on that.
But I think that kind of is me realizing what I'm naturally kind of good at or naturally inclined to do, or like the situations that I thrive in. And then it's kind of like, okay, how can I apply that to something that matters to me? And I think I'm really trying to dive into that, and it's a little bit scary to do that, but like to try to find the things that I'm really angry about and passionate about and feel like I want to make a difference in. And I think that first and foremost for me, it definitely comes down to helping people just in general. Like whatever I decide to do is going to be people oriented. Yeah, one of the things that I'm finding that really, really bothers me, and the thing that I want to do something about, is when I see people that I care about that aren't going after the lives that they really want to live, or going after what they really want. So it's just kind of like helping other people to find their values and own those as well. And yeah, I've come up against a lot of questions and barriers to get there. And it's just this process of self-exploration that's really interesting, scary, because it's very uncertain, but I think I'm definitely in the right place to kind of unpack all of those ideas.
Nice. I think that kind of brings up an interesting point too, that style is distinct from mission, I would say. Like, I think part of what you're trying to figure out right now is kind of what your big picture purpose of your work and of your life.
Yeah,
and
totally.
that is different from style. Kind of style is like the layer on top of whatever the core mission, the value behind the work.
It makes me think of like, so say my mission was like, I want to help people. Like that's very, very broad. So it's like, how am I going to bring my personal style into that? What's that going to look like? And that kind of looks like, it looks like all of this stuff down here as well. Like, what am I going to make? How's that going to look? How am I going to add my personal style into that?
I want to do something because it's kind of tied into here. Maybe just as the last idea. Maybe just like mission plus style equals
your work.
Work, yeah. Equals your... You'd use body of work. I like the phrasing of that. I haven't heard that before. I think that's kind of a good way to come full circle here too, because I like that phrasing of body of work, and that's what this all means. That phrase body of work refers to all of the things that you make and put out there, and that's what it will take to find your style. So with that, I think we will wrap it up for today. If you would like to learn how to develop these skills and use them for your own projects so that the next time you see a cool video on YouTube and you want to remember it, you can sketch it out like we have. Check out all of the resources available at verbal2visual.com.
Yeah, and I referenced some other videos that we made previously to this week. So check those out as well. Also, if you're wondering what is this place that they're talking about where they're unpacking their values and their self-exploring, it's called Wayfinding Academy, and it's a new 2-year college in Portland, Oregon. And you can check that out as well. We'll have a link in the description.
So with that, we'll say goodbye. Hope to see you next time.
See you later.
We made it through.
All right, we did it.